The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Tracy Abbott is devastated over Martin Lawrence's confession. Tracy has decided to go to New York with Ashley Abbott. While she plans to write a book, could she have an unexpected revelation? What if Tracy realizes it was Martin she fell in love with all along, not his twin brother, Alan Lawrence? Keep reading and let's discuss the possibilities. Tracy was happy and in love with Alan for months. The two even got engaged and Tracy was over the moon. However, Tracy would soon suspect that Alan was really his dead twin brother, Martin. Tracy was also horrified that the man she loved could be responsible for the double kidnapping and mental torture of two women. Tracy didn't even suspect anything until she spoke with Sharon Newman about the abduction. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Martin finally confessed and was arrested by Chance Chancellor. While Tracy is looking for closure, she also feels incredibly guilty. It was really nice seeing Tracy talk with Sharon and Phyllis about the ordeal. However, what happens now greater than? In the episode that aired on Friday, April 11, 2025, Tracy told Jack Abbott and Diane Jenkins Abbott that she was leaving Genoa City for a while. Tracy plans to travel to New York with her sister Ashley. Tracy said she needs time away and to process everything that's happened. Tracy also feels that there is a book about to come out. Tracy is hoping to get closure and healing from this trip. However, what if the opposite happens? What if Tracy realizes that she didn't fall in love with Alan, but with Martin, even though he was impersonating his twin brother? While it's true that Martin is deranged and insane, maybe with the right treatment he will resurface a better man. Tracy isn't just grieving the loss of a relationship, she's also wrangling with how she could not know Martin was Alan. Tracy will also have to grieve for Alan, since all this time she thought it was Martin that was dead. At the time of the Paris fall, Tracy and Alan were just getting to know each other. Tracy wasn't in love yet. That didn't happen until she was with Martin. It might be warped and twisted, but anything is possible in soaps. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie, here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching, so let's dive into today's video. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the next 2 weeks, April 14 to April 25, reveal that Michael Baldwin's loyalty will be tested while Kyle Abbott and Claire Newman's romance is at risk. Plus, Audra Charles' rotten lies will make waves, so let's talk about what's ahead in Genoa City. During the week of April 14 to 18, Victoria Newman will have a hunch that Nick Newman and Sharon Newman might be on the verge of a reunion. Although Nick will shut down the idea, there's indeed the potential for him to reconnect with Sharon during their upcoming London trip. As for Phyllis Summers, she'll struggle to move on despite Martin Lawrence's exposure and arrest. Phyllis will throw herself into work, but it'll still take some time to heal from all her trauma. Speaking of healing from trauma, Tracy Abbott will decide to leave town with Ashley Abbott for a bit, so she can process everything and distract herself by writing a new novel. While Tracy and Ashley head to New York, Audra will take the first bold steps in her plot to take down Kyle on Victor's orders. However, Audra will have to deceive Nate Hastings as this scheme heats up, so lying to him could set the stage for some trouble. Lily Winters will also push Damien Kane to admit what he's hiding, but she's not going to like Damien's condition. Despite Lily's best efforts to pry the truth out of Damien, he may continue to keep secrets regarding Aristotle Dumas. Lily will ultimately open up to Amy Lewis about her worries, so we'll see if Amy can help Damien keep the peace with Lily, Nate, and Devin Winters. Over with Victor, he'll try to lure Billy Abbott into a setup. A trap will be waiting for Billy, so stay tuned for updates on his response to it. In the meantime, Kyle and Jack Abbott will make a discovery at Jebo, one related to the spies Victor planted. Later, Jack will conspire with Diane Jenkins Abbott as they prepare to play defense against Victor. I&R spoilers say Diane will quiz Michael and put him in a tricky situation. Although Diane is Michael's friend, will he really be disloyal to Victor? During the week of April 21 to 25, Claire will give Kyle's suggestion of living together more thought. If Victor finds out Claire might take this huge step with Kyle, that could motivate him to move things along when it comes to his plot with Audra. Victor might pressure Audra to speed up the trap she's setting and expose Kyle's true colors to Claire sooner. Audra will also have to deal with a flirty Holden Novak, so her relationship with Nate could be threatened from multiple angles. Holden might make a prediction about winning Audra back eventually. As for Michael, his job will continue to create complications for his personal life. Lauren Finmore Baldwin will grow increasingly concerned about the tasks Victor expects Michael to accomplish, so that'll bring some marriage tension. The Young and the Restless spoilers say the next 2 weeks will bring some excitement, so stay tuned for all the stunning news and heated confrontations. In the latest video preview for Young and the Restless, Victoria wonders when enough is enough. Jack has something to be happy about and Damien finally talks, sort of. After Alan was revealed to be behind Sharon and Phyllis kidnapping, and that he was actually his evil twin Martin, Victoria decides to check in on her brother. She asks Nick, "Don't you need a break?" He says, "That's what this would be." She replies, "No, I mean a break from Sharon and all of her drama." Michael, sitting with Victor, says, "You seem to be in a good mood, Jack. Did anything in particular happen today?" Jack chortles, "Well, thank you for asking. Gee, where do I start?" Could he be giddy over the fact that Victor's attempts to break up Claire and Kyle have failed, and in fact, the young lovers could be moving in together? Or is this about the mysterious Mr. Dumas? Speaking of Dumas, Lily wants the truth about his and Damien's connection to the mysterious business backer. She's already been warned that Dumas could be after Winters. Lily tells Damien, "This is your last chance to get me to believe I can trust you." He replies, "I'll tell you everything, with one condition." In the hushed corners of Genoa City's bustling conference center, beneath the dazzling spotlight of power players like Audra, Victor, and Kyle, a darker narrative unfolds. Away from the main stage, Amy and Damien slip into secrecy, forming a dangerous alliance driven by desperation. Their goal? To rescue Martin from prison before he can betray their most guarded secrets. Martin's arrest has thrown their underground network into chaos. Amy, rattled but resolute, meets Damien in a secluded corridor where tension buzzes like static in the air. With fear in her eyes, she warns that Martin's silence must be ensured by any means necessary. Damien, torn between loyalty and morality, agrees. The stakes are rising, and both know they're dancing on the edge of ruin. But they're not alone. Nate, with his razor-sharp instincts and relentless curiosity, overhears the conversation. Hidden in the shadows, he listens in shock as Amy and Damien plot to break Martin out. Even more disturbing is a whispered truth Nate can't shake. Could Damien actually be Amy's son? As Nate processes what he's heard, his mind races. He realizes Martin wasn't just arrested by chance. He was set up by those closest to him, including Amy and Damien. Nate's torn. Should he confront Amy and risk blowing open a web of secrets that could ignite Genoa City into chaos, or quietly gather more evidence? Eventually, Nate chooses to confront Amy. Her response is chilling. She confesses that Martin was a threat to everything they've built, and that Damien is more than just an accomplice. He's her legacy, her redemption. In Soaps.com's latest Young and Restless spoilers for Monday, April 14 through Friday, April 18, Holden's on the receiving end of a warning. Nikki attempts to do the impossible, and Audra goes out on a limb. Get the details on these teasers and more, and find out whom Diane puts in the hot seat below. Young and Restless spoilers for Monday, April 14. Better late than never, Jack addresses Diane's habit of keeping secrets. Somewhere, you just know Phyllis is dying to put in her 2 cents. If you can't trust your sister with your secrets, who can you trust? Nick makes a confession to Victoria. As Tracy looks for closure, all we can say is that we're rooting for honorable. Soapbox, is Alan still alive? Plus, Damien dishes deets, Jack one-ups Victor, and more. Young and Restless spoilers for Tuesday, April 15. It's now or never. When Lily presses Damien to come clean, will he finally tell her the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth? As Nate gives Holden a warning, Audra makes a bold move. Will it mean the end of Kyle and Claire's relationship, or her own romance with Nate? Young and Restless spoilers for Wednesday, April 16. Victor, in desperate need of a hobby that doesn't involve harming others, sets a trap for Billy. An old pro at bending facts to suit her needs, Audra stretches the truth. Another day, another shocker. Jack and Kyle discover deception at Jibot. Isn't there usually? Young and Restless spoilers for Thursday, April 17. No matter how wrong-headed he is, he just never can admit, can he? Victor stands his ground against the Abbotts. Proving that the couple that plots together has a shot together, Jack and Diane plan their defense. Thankless jobs are nothing new to Nikki. So today, she does one that she's often forced to. She tries to keep the peace. Young and Restless spoilers for Friday, April 18. Victor plays his cards close to the vest, no doubt right next to his money clip and his mustache comb. Lily shares her concerns with Amy. Audra seemed up for the challenge, maintaining that she could outsmart Victor at his games, and that she and Kyle were alike. Sally determinedly tried to talk Audra out of it, and offered to find her a job at Marchetti, but Audra wasn't interested. Audra said she'd seduced Kyle before, but Sally pointed out that was when his marriage was falling apart, and his family had ostracized him. He was very much back in the Abbott fold and with Claire Newman. Audra said all she had to do was put Kyle in a compromising position, and the rest would take care of itself. Sally wondered if Claire deserved to be hurt. Audra said that Kyle was a player, so it was pain now or pain later, and the sooner Claire knew that, the better. Sally asked what Audra would do when Nate found out what she was up to. Audra agreed that Nate was great and didn't want to lose him. She just thought she could hide what she was doing from him. She insisted she could trap Kyle and walk away and not cheat on Nate over it. Sally thought she was playing with fire, risking her relationship, and was fairly certain it would all blow up in Audra's face. She pointed out that Nate cared about her and wanted her to let him in, but she was setting this up like a secret part of her life that would exclude him. Audra assured Sally she had no interest in Kyle and that wouldn't change, so that part wouldn't be a lie. Sally asked Audra to watch her back and not to back herself into a corner. "I got this. I have to," Audra told her. At Crimson Lights, Claire and Kyle met for coffee. He told her how much he'd missed her the night before, as she had brought home work and then had fallen asleep. Kyle said he laid awake thinking of her, and it would be a problem solved if they moved in together. Claire wasn't ready for that, but the more Kyle brought it up, the more she gave it some thought. They tossed around the idea of where they could live, in the Abbott mansion or the Tack House, with extended family in both. Kyle was open to getting their own place together instead. Kyle said he knew a realtor he could call, and Claire noted that it was supposed to be a hypothetical conversation. She wasn't sure his motivations were as he claimed. Claire told Kyle they needed to talk about her grandfather. Claire admitted that Victor's lack of approval of their relationship really bothered her. Kyle didn't think they should let Victor's negative attitude affect them. Claire asked if Kyle's motivation for living together had anything to do with proving something to Victor, but he denied it. Claire didn't want to rub their relationship in Victor's face and hoped he would change his mind one day. "But if we do move in together, there will be fallout from him," she added. Claire just wanted her grandfather to like her boyfriend. Kyle could understand and didn't want her to feel pressured about moving in together. He teased her for her optimism, but then listed off all of her fabulous qualities. Victoria visited Victor at the main house, and they talked about Martin being arrested. Victoria was relieved that everyone was safe and felt terrible for Tracy. Victor noted that although Claire would be upset for the Abbotts, she could share that with her family, not them. Once again, Victor ranted about not wanting Kyle and Claire together. Victoria warned Victor that he could push Claire away, as well as lose Victoria, as she couldn't stand idly by while he tried to wreck her daughter's happiness. Victoria thought that after everything Claire had been through with Jordan her whole life, she deserved to have freedom of her own choices finally, and was head over heels for Kyle, who treated her very well. Victor reasoned that Kyle was no different than Jack or Billy, and he would ultimately hurt Claire. After all she'd been through with Jordan, he didn't want that for her. Victor thanked Victoria for taking over Newman Enterprises with Nick after Victor was shot. He knew Victoria was carrying most of the weight since Nick had been helping Sharon. Victor noted that Cole was doing well in charge of the publishing department. Victoria pointed out that Victor used to have a big problem with her relationship with Cole, and now look at him. She hoped that one day he'd have the same change of heart about Kyle and Claire. Victoria noted that it was one thing to disapprove, but asked Victor to promise her that he wouldn't do anything to ruin Claire's relationship with Kyle. Before Victor could answer, the doorbell rang. Victoria was surprised to find Audra at the door. Victor explained that he was offering her a job at Newman. Victoria reluctantly left without more information. Audra told Victor that she was willing to take his offer with some conditions. She wanted an ironclad business arrangement in place before she did anything. She also didn't want to run a division of Newman. Audra told Victor she wanted him to fund her own company, like she had with Glissade, but this time, she couldn't be tossed aside. General Hospital spoilers reveal that a new face is about to pop up in the land of Port Charles. With that said, he's a familiar face to Genoa City residents. That's because the young and the restless alum Daniel Goddard is joining the ABC soap. He'll be playing a new character, Port Charles University professor Henry Dalton. Emma Scorpio Drake mentioned her environmental physics teacher, Professor Dalton, during the Thursday, April 10 edition to Gio Palmieri. During that show, Vaughn also talked to Jocelyn Jacks about her first WSB assignment, telling her she'd be enrolled in that same course. Sounds like Goddard is slated to play a pivotal part in Joss and Emma's new storyline, so it'll be interesting to see him get involved in the mix of it all. The actor is set to make his PC debut on Tuesday, April 15. Goddard had been hinting some major news on his Instagram recently, and some believed he was making a comeback on the Y&R. Audiences of that soap may recall that Goddard played Kane Ashby, main love interest to Lily Winters from 2007 to 2019. Alas, Kane won't be returning to GC, but seeing Goddard on GH is still very exciting news. Goddard recently told TV Insider that it's an absolute pleasure to be back in daytime when talking about his new GH role. He also told the publication that he initially auditioned for the part of Jack Brennan in December 2024. As GH audiences know by now, that ended up going to soap opera veteran Chris McKenna. While Goddard got the bad news he wasn't getting the Brennan role, the silver lining in this all is he did snag an intrigue character within another major GH storyline. General Hospital spoilers hint at some bombshells around the corner, as Emma continues to remain tight-lipped about why she signed an NDA to stay out of jail at her last school, and Jocelyn continues on her WSB journey. These ladies are being propped up to take center stage on the soap in the weeks ahead, so it'll be interesting to see how Professor Henry will play into all this drama. In a jaw-dropping twist that rocks Genoa City, Victor Newman is about to drop a secret so explosive, it will leave Sally stunned and the entire Newman dynasty reeling. Behind his steely composure and decades of strategic dominance, Victor has been hiding a truth too devastating to share, until now. During a tense and emotional evening, Victor finally breaks down in front of Sally, tears glistening in his eyes as he confesses something that will change both their lives forever. She is his daughter. Victor's long game has always been about control, power, and preserving the legacy of the Newman Empire. But as he watches the rising tension between Kyle and Claire, he realizes that some secrets can no longer stay buried. Using Audra as a pawn in his complicated scheme to dismantle Kyle and Claire's romance, Victor masks his true intention, protecting Sally from becoming collateral damage in a world where every love story is a potential threat to his empire. What Sally never knew was that her mother had once shared a passionate but tragic love affair with Victor, a relationship Victor buried along with his regrets. Now, the past has returned full force, embodied in Sally's strength, wit, and grace, all qualities Victor recognizes as unmistakably his. In a moment of vulnerability, he finally tells her the truth, not just about their blood tie, but about the burden of legacy she unknowingly carries. In a jaw-dropping twist that could change everything in Genoa City, Trevor Street John may be making his highly anticipated return to the young and the restless. The mystery surrounding the elusive Aristotle Duma has had fans speculating for weeks, but now it appears the mask is finally slipping, and behind it could be none other than Tucker McCall himself. Rumors swirled that the mysterious Duma might be played by new cast addition Billy Flynn, or even be a surprise Kane Ashby return. But all signs now point to a stunning reveal. Duma is Tucker in disguise. And if that's true, Trevor Street John is definitely back in business. Thanks to Victor Newman, who never misses a beat, it's becoming clear that Duma's French-based company Arabesque mirrors Tucker's old firm Glacat. Add in the fact that Tucker has been residing in France lately, and the coincidences are piling up fast. Even more telling, Duma has taken a sudden interest in Billy Abbott's redemption arc. Considering Billy is Ashley Abbott's brother, and Ashley is Tucker's former love, it reeks of a calculated move to reinsert himself into Ashley's life. Meanwhile, Duma is also circling Winters Incorporated, the empire run by Tucker's son, Davin Hamilton. This can't be random. And let's not forget Audra Charles, Tucker's ex, who helped Victor take down Glacat. Is this a revenge plot years in the making? With Victor and Michael Baldwin digging deeper, the pieces are falling into place. If Victor's theory holds, Genoa City better brace for impact. Because if Tucker is back, masked as Aristotle Duma, it's only a matter of time before chaos erupts. At the club, Tracy asks her fiancé, "Who are you?" He proclaims that she's not making any sense. She hisses, "Stop it. Are you Alan or Martin?" He says he's Alan, but Ashley tells Martin they know what happened. They know Alan died in the fall. She challenges him to tell her she's wrong. He says that's quite the accusation. Tracy snaps, "It cannot be true." When Laurent doesn't respond, Tracy turns away. Jack asks how he could have done this to their sister. Ashley rails at him for going after her sister after making sure she was tucked away in that clinic for what he did to her. He tells Ashley she obviously needs more therapy. Turning to Tracy, he reminds her that he made her happy. He then accuses Ashley of putting these insane ideas into Tracy's head because she was attracted to him. He asks Tracy how she could stop loving him after all they shared. Tracy cries that she fell in love with a lie. Laurent protests that he wanted to spend the rest of his life with her. Jack says enough and urges Chance to arrest him already. Laurent balks, for what? Chance says impersonating his dead brother seems like a good start, but that's not the only crime I'm here for. Laurent insists falling in love isn't a crime. Tracy changed his life. He doesn't understand where all this hostility is coming from. Everyone knows Martin assaulted Ashley. Ashley strides over and tells him she knows with every fiber of her being who he is. When he dragged her down that hallway, God knows what would have happened if Tucker hadn't showed up. That wasn't enough for him, though. He had to go after her sister too. Through gritted teeth, she said she hoped he rots in hell. Chance wants Laurent to come with him. Tracy hollers that he abducted Sharon and Phyllis. He claims he has no idea what she's talking about. Jack tells Laurent the truth is about to come out, and he damn well be prepared for the consequences. He lunges at him, but Chance intervenes. Ashley tells him he's done hurting her and her sister. They'll make sure he'll never hurt anyone ever again. Laurent says he doesn't understand how they could misjudge him this way after how much he's loved Tracy. Tracy is horrified that she was so naive. He decides that in the interest of setting the story straight, he'll leave with Detective Chancellor. Tracy says this is proof that he's not Alan. He's more worried about how this looks than he is about her being gutted because of his lies. He insists that he loves her. Tracy asks if she was just an experiment too, seeing how long he could string her along until he broke her heart. He says, "It's mine that's broken." Tracy laughs and cries in disbelief as Chance leads Laurent out of the club. Jack and Ashley comfort her. Nick and Sharon meet Phyllis at Crimson Lights, where she's anxious to hear the new information. She also asks Nick to call Summer, who needs her dad. Sharon tells Phyllis about the surveillance equipment found in the farmhouse and linked to the room they were locked in. They also found their cell phones. It's one step closer. Phyllis wants to find out which one of those Laurent twins kidnapped them and nail him to the wall. Nick explains they didn't turn up any concrete proof of identity, but they were gathering fingerprints. Sharon says Chance got a text and had to go. She's hoping he's finding answers as they speak. "How are you holding up?" Phyllis isn't well. She's having nightmares and thinking everyone she looks at could be the voice. Sharon's the same. Phyllis says they need to find whoever played God with their leaves and push them to death. She needs to look them in the eye and says, "Guess what? You didn't break me." Sharon tells Phyllis to have faith. Chance is close. She points out if it turns out this was Alan or Martin Laurent, their nightmare will end, but Tracy's is just beginning. Phyllis feels so bad and hopes she's not in danger. At the station, Laurent tells Chance he knows nothing about kidnappings, so this shouldn't take long. Chance warns him fingerprints are being processed right now. He says, "They're not mine." He claims he's Alan Laurent, though he can see why Chance would be confused after that scene at the athletic club. He reminds the cop of the Abbott family's mental health issues. Chance thinks it sounds like he's breaking confidentiality. Laurent says he just wants them to get the help they need and insists he has nothing to hide. Chance says, "We'll see about that." At the station, Laurent tells Chance he knows nothing about kidnappings, so this shouldn't take long. Chance warns him fingerprints are being processed right now. He says, "They're not mine." He claims he's Alan Laurent, though he can see why Chance would be confused after that scene at the athletic club. He reminds the cop of the Abbott family's mental health issues. Chance thinks it sounds like he's breaking confidentiality. Laurent says he just wants them to get the help they need and insists he has nothing to hide. Chance says, "We'll see about that." At Crimson Lights, Sharon brings Phyllis a drink. She says that's so sweet. Sharon teases, "It's like I read your mind." Nick remarks that he's still getting used to them being nice to each other, but there's clearly a bond here. Phyllis says they went through hell together. She still doesn't understand why he targeted them. Sharon says her mind keeps going back to him saying he saw them as an experiment. They were like mice in a maze, playing by his rules. He messed with the wrong women. In the club, Tracy tells Jack and Ashley she can't believe she didn't see this in all the months they spent together. Ash reminds her he fooled her more than once. This is on him. He victimized them and left them with trauma to deal with. He's a master manipulator who is adept at stepping into Alan's shoes. How could Tracy possibly know the difference when she didn't know the real Alan? Jack agrees. The blame is squarely on Laurent. Tracy tears up and thanks them for trying to make her feel better. but she brought him there and put them all in terrible danger. Jack asks her to stop blaming herself. None of this is her fault. Tracy feels so stupid. Ashley and Jack saw how loving and attentive he was. They all bought it. Tracy cries, "Why didn't I know it was too good to be true? If he abducted Sharon and Phyllis, she's responsible for that too." At the police station, Chance tells Laurent that he has 2 women out there who insist on speaking with him. He guesses Tracy and Ashley are there and says, "Bring them in. I look forward to it." But it's Sharon and Phyllis who appear. Laurent asks Sharon and claims not to know who Phyllis is. Phyllis tells him he's a piece of crap and asks, "Why did you kidnap us?" Laurent says this is all an infuriating mistake. Phyllis wants to hit him. Sharon says it's not a mistake and they came for the truth. Laurent blames Ashley's did for all of this. She told Tracy lies about him. Sharon can see he's suffering from delusional narcissism. He understands she's looking for someone to punish, but that's not him. She came to him for help to prove her innocence because she trusted him. She can't possibly believe this nonsense. Phyllis and Sharon start reciting their captor's riddles out loud and ask, "Why would you kidnap us, torture us? What was the point?" He claims he has no idea what they're referring to. Phyllis pulls out a water bottle and asks, "Do you want a drink?" She muses, "Unless you're afraid." "Are you afraid it might be drugged?" He announces he's leaving. Chance says he's not. Sharon and Phyllis keep at him about his experiment. They know he kidnapped them, and they know he's Martin the psychopath. He says Martin is dead. Phyllis wants to know why he picked them. "Did you want us to unravel? Did you want us to fall apart?" They didn't. They won and he lost. Tracy figured it out. "We beat you. We beat you." Laurent pounds the table and screams, "Enough," as he leaps to his feet. Chance braces. Sharon muses, "Seems that we've hit a nerve." Laurent claims it's just that his life has been turned upside down. He wanted to marry Tracy and came back from Paris to this. None of them has a clue what happened here. Sharon asks what they're missing. Laurent says that they call Martin a psychopath, but even he didn't understand his brilliance until it was too late. Through his own therapeutic process and by watching him practice, he absorbed the therapeutic process by pure osmosis. He wanted to prove he was superior. It was a source of conflict between them. He wrote him off, but then he saw it. Martin proved he was a genius the night he facilitated Ashley's breakthrough in Paris. He did that. He succeeded where I failed. Sharon asks if he was trying to show his genius with her and Phyllis, get them to have a breakthrough. He asks if it worked. Did they solve their differences and reach a new awareness? Phyllis says, "No, your experiment failed. You failed. Your experiment made me and Sharon hate each other more." Laurent argues that they wouldn't be there as a united front if it hadn't worked. Sharon asks if he's kidding. After all the things this bitch put her through over the years, Phyllis hates Sharon even more. Laurent thinks this is reverse psychology. Sharon and Phyllis keep up the act, insulting each other and arguing at the top of their lungs. Laurent tells them this is heavy-handed if they're trying to get a confession. Chance says they don't need it. He has plenty of evidence. He hollers that they're bluffing. Phyllis taunts that no one is bluffing. His experiment failed. Your experiment failed. You're a failure. Loser. Sharon tells him Alain would be embarrassed by him. Laurent explodes. Alan wasn't worth the ink on his diploma as a therapist. He was the weak one. He had no vision. Becoming Martin, he bellows that he is the one who changed Ashley and the two of them. They can deny it all they want, but he heightened their humanity. How can that be a crime? Turning to Chance, he says, "I helped them." Phyllis tells him she has a new experiment for him. He's the lab rat. He gets to stay in a cell. You're the one who's trapped. Your life is no longer your own. Martin says they don't understand what he did for them. Sharon taunts that maybe they'll come and visit him sometime and see how he's doing. Phyllis says, "Yeah, maybe I'll come play a game with you." They walk out. At the club, Ashley and Jack tell Tracy she had nothing to do with what happened to Sharon and Phyllis. Jack warns her not to add undue guilt to her plate. Ashley says if anyone is responsible, it's her. Alan is her friend. None of them knew where this was going to lead. Tracy worries this is triggering for Ashley, but her sister says she's okay. Jack suggests she check in with her doctor. Ashley agrees that's a good idea, but right now she's worried about her sister. Tracy wanted to be wrong. She wonders what they do now. Jack hopes Chance finds the evidence to hold him. Once he's behind bars, they can really start to put this all behind them.